Alrighty. What's happening, people? How we darn? How we darn? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if everything sounds a-okay. It's great to be here with you. Valentine's night and we're live streaming? What are we doing? Why are we live streaming on Valentine's night, guys? You know why? Because Dynasty never stops. The rookie drafts never stop. The mock drafts, the preparation never stops. When they're sleeping, we're mocking. When they're mocking, we're mocking. When they're out on Valentine's Day, we're mocking. Am I right? What's up, people? Welcome in. Let me know who here has a Valentine, but you're not doing anything. And let me know who here is actually, you just don't have a Valentine. You know, let me know where the distinction is between this group here tonight. Because it'll be interesting. You know, for myself, Valentine's Day was yesterday in Sydney, Australia. And it was funny, me and my wife were, you know, she's studying at university. I'm at the moment, you know, carrying everything over here on the channel with Badaki out, you know, as they're preparing to have a baby. And we kind of forgot until at night. We were like, oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day, by the way. We were like, you know, we should do something maybe a different year. But 12 days until the NFL Combine. Oh my gosh, that wow, that came up real quick, didn't it? 71 days until the NFL Draft. Style says we out, Chia. What's up, C? We'll probably do a Q&A at the end. My man, WG, what's up? Chase says I'm going to go 28. What's up, Buckeye? Quavon, I saw this. I thought it was hilarious. Daniel says my Valentine is Dynasty football. Sparrow says, nah, been single my whole life. That's okay. That's all right. Here we are. Chase says my Valentine and I are celebrating this weekend. Nothing going on today. You love to see it. Minch says got a Valentine, but I also got priorities. Damn right. Mitch's partner was like, hey, you want to go out and get, like, you know, a nice spag ball tonight at an Italian restaurant? He's like, you know, I would, but I'd rather prepare for the 2024 NFL Draft. Okay, so we'll do that on the weekend. I love that. WG says, do no mock today for us mocking. My wife has pneumonia, so got a mock. Oh, damn, that sounds serious. I am sorry to hear that. Apparently, Kays is on a work trip. The Rob Low hat, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Daniel says, got out of a toxic relationship in 2019, been single since. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You want to know about loyalty? You know what? This is probably the wrong clientele on our channel, because I went to analytics, I think, a couple weeks ago. I think we're like 95% male audience here. So maybe not the right market here, but I will say, if there are any single ladies out there, you will not find a more loyal man than Daniel Macy. Daniel Macy's been an OG, a day one, supports us on YouTube, supports us on Flock Fantasy, has been supporting us, I believe, since the podcast days, since the Patreon days. I mean, man, talk about loyalty. Comments on most of our videos, on all the live streams. There's some loyalty if you're looking for it. Glamour says, got a Valentine, but on the West Coast in the US, so there's time for both. You love to see it. Waffle Boy says, what's up? My girl's life lives across the state for school, so I'm chilling at home. You love to see it. Love. Alex says, I'm married, but my wife knows fantasy football is my first love. Rowan says, my Valentine is Lad McConkey. Hey, you and me both, man. You and me both. Guys, I've recorded a video that is coming out tomorrow morning. And that video was basically created, it was birthed from me scouting this third wave as we prepare for V3 of our rookie report. And I'm bringing you 5 names, and I'm confident that at least 2 of the names, most of you, 90% of people would not have even heard of. And I think they could be serious fantasy contributors, so be on the lookout for that tomorrow. C says, it's my fiance's birthday and Valentine's Day. I'm here. You love to see it. I love Jalen McMillan too. But welcome in, gang. Welcome in. We are going to do a mock draft tonight. Do me a massive favor. Go ahead and smash that like button. Such a simple way for you to help support this channel and to help the DynastyLand channel grow. So go ahead and smash that like button for us. Let's set a like goal of 80 likes for today's stream. 80 likes. If we get 80 likes, I will do multiple mocks for you guys, at least a second one guaranteed. So go ahead and get us started by smashing that like button. Now, we are doing a 2024 SFLX rookie mock draft. We do have landing spots, and those landing spots are brought to you by Draft Countdown. Y'all know our boy Shane Hollum, who I think his brother actually watches content on our channel, which is awesome. But he puts out these 7-round mock drafts. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to do a 7-round mock, so props to him, because that is some real dedication. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want a link to these landing spots. We used these landing spots a couple days ago, and I just thought they were so good that it created so many conversations. I wanted to keep using them, so we'll go through that. But if people are curious, hey, how do I join today's mock draft? How can I actually draft with you? Very simple. All you need to do is join our Discord. All right, join our Discord. I put a link in the description. Once you're in our Discord, under the Fantasyland tab, you'll see this, Fantasyland tab with the orange footballs. Make sure you're in the right Discord. I put it in the chat there. It's also in the description. You'll see content releases. Lonely Gang, we out here. All right, I just put that in the chat. If you guys see that message, then you are in the right place. That's where I'm going to send the link for today's mock draft. Okay, so keep that in mind. That is where the link is going to go. I'm going to draft from the 12 spot today because I want to let you guys kind of determine the draft, and I want to have some good conversations while we do that. And 7 people gave it a heart. You'd love to see it, but it is first come, first serve. So I'm going to send that link out here in 3, 2, 1. All right, first come, first serve. Little known trick. From what we've heard, from our research, from our intel, you do have more success when you are on a computer than a phone. Just what I've heard. Don't shoot the messenger. It's just what I've heard. But we are very close to full. Actually, we are completely full. Just before we get into the actual mock draft, let's go ahead and review the landing spots for today's draft. This is the world we're living in, people. All right. It's Shane's world from the Draft Countdown, and we're just living in it. All right. So, in this world, in today's exercise, Caleb Williams is a Chicago Bear. No surprise there. The Commanders go Drake May. The Patriots get Jaden Daniels. The Cardinals go Marvin Harrison Jr. The Chargers get Malik Neighbors. Roma Dunze goes to the Giants. Those first 6 picks, oh my gosh. Could you imagine that for fantasy purposes? How hot that would be. Brock Bowers goes to the Jets at 10. I love that spot. J.J. McCarthy to the Raiders at 13. It feels like every day there is someone commenting on our videos telling us J.J. McCarthy's a bust. Insert quarterback name that's a bust. It's mostly J.J. that people are hating on. I will tell you guys this. I don't want to tell you my opinion on it because everyone has their own opinion. But I can promise you that the NFL is higher on J.J. McCarthy than you are. I can promise you that. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Then we get Brian Thomas Jr. to the Cowboys. Pick 24. It's a great landing spot. Troy Franklin to the Buffalo Bills. Xavier Worthy to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then we're going to get into the second round where my guy Lad, the space creator, lands in Carolina with Bryce. Roman Wilson jumps up the board to the Patriots with pick 34. Malachi Corley to pick 38. I don't know if y'all saw Steve Smith. He talked about Malachi Corley as his sleeper wide receiver in the draft. And I may have been too harsh on Malachi. I don't know. I think anyone who is an evaluator of talent could be honest and say, how do you evaluate Malachi Corley? How do you evaluate him with the amount of targets he got behind the line of scrimmage? Very difficult to evaluate him as a route runner, as a complete prospect. At 42, the Vikings go Michael Penix Jr. The Colts get Keon Coleman at pick 46. Jatavion Sanders goes to the Bengals at pick 49. Bo Nix goes to the Rams at pick 52. Adonai Mitchell to the Browns at pick 54. Then we see Jonathan Brooks, torn ACL and all, goes to the Houston Texans at pick 59. You'd love to see it. Xavier Legette to the Lions at 61. At 62, Braylon Allen falls in the perfect landing spot. Hey, where are those Braylon Allen people at? You know, I'm not this part of the crowd who's Braylon Allen RB1, you know, pushing him as RB1. But those Braylon Allen people, they got to love this spot. They got to love that spot. That's a great landing spot for him. You saw what Gus Edwards did last year. Into the third round where my guy, my RB1 comes off the board. Trey Benson to the Cardinals. Tez Walker to the Falcons. Slick Ricky Pearsall to the Bears. Jalen McMillan to the Raiders. We've got Jalen Polk to the Steelers. Brendan Rice to the Texans. Jalen Wright to the Dallas Cowboys. I told y'all about Jalen Wright early January as one of my sleepers at the running back spot. And now I'm seeing everyone talk about him as the RB1. So it seems like every time I have a sleeper, it doesn't matter. Because those players are just smashed straight up the board. We'll say at least Jalen McMillan hasn't been smashed up boards yet, or Marshawn Lloyd. Blake Corum goes to the Packers. Jacob Cohen to the Bucks. Jamari Thrash to the Ravens. Ben Sinnott to the Commanders. We get into the fourth round. We'll go to rounds 4 and 5. You can look at rounds 6 and 7 if you please. But in round 4, Cade Stover to the Panthers. Marshawn Lloyd, my guy, to the Chargers. Ray Davis to the Giants. We love some sweet baby Rays. Bucky Irvin to the Vikings. Spencer Rattler to the Falcons. Malik Washington to the Jets. Don't sleep on Malik. Audric Estime to the Bengals. Jaheim Bell to the Colts. Michael Pratt to the Seahawks. Johnny Wilson to the Broncos. Will Shipley to the Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang. In round 5, Javon Baker, my guy, to the Patriots. You love to see it. Kendall Milton to the Panthers. To his brother to the Giants. Theo Johnson to the Broncos. Dylan Lobb to the Broncos as well. You know, a couple names in here. Cody Schroeder to the Rams. Anaya Smith to the Dolphins. I know I'm skipping some names here, but y'all can see that in the mock. But let's go ahead and get to it. 2024 Superflex Rookie Draft. PPR. Tight end Premium. We'll go tight end Premium today. And let's get this thing popping. Now, I'm sorry, but I do reserve the right to pause at any time if I want to talk about something. I hope that doesn't make anyone upset, but you know, sometimes there's things I just want to talk about. And we got to stop right now. We got to stop straight away. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors off the board first and second. JRV and Ken Lowe here are saying, let's start Valentine's night with some spice. Let's get a little spicy in here. And if you guys have watched our rankings video where I rank all the rookies in this class from a Superflex perspective, I don't think this is crazy. I'm not saying this is how ADP will go. I'm not saying this is what you should do. But all I'm saying is I don't think it's that crazy, because I do think Malik Neighbors is that good of a player. I really wholeheartedly believe he is that good of a player. I think in any other class, he's the clear wide receiver 1. I don't think there's only one elite wide receiver prospect in this class. I think there are 2. And y'all know I have said that before. I'm trying to find that rankings video to show you guys, but I can't find it. But anyway, my first tier has 5 players. I think that's how good the top 5 is. And look, would I let Caleb Williams fall to the 103? No. But do I think it's egregious? No. Right? That's how I would state it. Remember, Marvin is a Charger, and we've got Malik who ends up with the Marvin is a Cardinal, and Malik ends up with the Chargers. So one gets to play with Kyler Murray. He's clearly the number 1 on his team. The other, I think, is talented enough to be the number 1 from day 1 with Justin Herbert. And I know a lot of people are saying, hey, the Chargers are going to take a tight end. They're going to take a tight end. They're going to take Brock Bowers, Greg Roman, this, that. You know, that doesn't mean that what they did before is exactly what they're going to, you know, do this time around. Now, there's a very good chance it's Brock Bowers, but in the world we're living today, it's Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors, I don't have any questions about him like I had with Quentin Johnson. I know that he can, from day 1, be one of these breakout rookie wide receivers. So We know those type of receivers with that type of draft capital connected to those quarterbacks, that's pretty solid. But still, I don't think I'm taking him over Caleb. What about you guys? We've got Rowan who says neighbors to the Chargers cements him in the top 3 of rookie picks. And then we see 3 quarterbacks off the board in Caleb, Drake, and Jaden Daniels to the Bears, the Commanders, and the Patriots. And don't discount Jaden Daniels just because he's at the Patriots. Remember, everyone did that last year with CJ Stroud. It's silly. It's silly for us to think that we know exactly how an NFL team is going to operate. It's just silly. It really is. Every year we try to do it. Every year we overestimate our ability to predict how an offense is going to be run. So don't discount Jaden Daniels at the 105 there. Brock Bowers at the 106 links up with Aaron Rodgers in New York. He's a fantastic complement to Garrett Wilson, who they already have there. Then we see Roma Dunze, who went to the Giants, off the board next, as well as J.J. McCarthy, the 13th overall pick to the Raiders in the first round. Then Brian Thomas Jr., who goes to the Dallas Cowboys. That's a great spot for him, man. Brandon Cooks getting older. Michael Gallup hasn't been the same player since that injury. And they need someone like Brian Thomas to complement CeeDee Lamb in an offense that loves to pass the ball. I like it. Xavier Worthy off the board next. Remember, he goes to the Chiefs at the end of the first round. I think he complements Rashee Rice well. You know, I will say, like, he's a great separator. He can get open in so many different ways. He's got ridiculous speed. He can stretch the field vertically, which is something that you're really struggling with right now in Kansas City. Let's just hope that, you know, he can. Those hands aren't suspect with those simple concentration drops. I'm not saying he has a drop issue. A lot of Texas fans get angry when I say that. But he had a broken hand. I know. But it's the concentration drops that are frustrating with his film. Lad, the space creator, goes 1 pick ahead of me. And I love me some Lad. Y'all know that. Y'all know I love me some Lad. Day 1, my OG. But there's still a first-round wide receiver on the board. There is still a first-round wide receiver on the board. And this is a wide receiver that's not getting the respect that I believe he has earned throughout his collegiate career. I'm on Twitter, guys, and I'm seeing people compare my guy to MVS. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. I can see it as a floor comp, but I don't like it as a ceiling comp. We're going to take Troy Franklin off the board, who, by the way, Troy Franklin ends up with the Buffalo Bills, pick 28 in the first round. So all he needs to do is be better than Gabe Davis. Fantastic. Fantastic. We can do that. We can absolutely work with that. But I think it's time to put a little bit more respect on Troy Franklin's name. I don't know if you guys mind, but can I take a second and put a little more respect on my guy's name? We're talking about Troy Franklin, a name that is disrespected across all of Twitter sphere right now. He's falling out of the first round everywhere. And I think people are vastly underrating what Troy Franklin's game brings to the modern day NFL. You've got size. Okay, I know it's a weird size, but he's 6'3", 187. Okay, so you've got size. You've got a player who broke out at the age of 19, where he accounted for 24, almost 25% of Oregon's offense in 2022 as a 19-year-old. Early breakout. He is 20 years old. He'll be 21 as a rookie. He's a young player, former 4-star recruit, and he's got a very good baseline route running, traits to work with. I think his release package is vastly underrated. There's something to be said about certain players who can get open as soon as the ball is snapped. Within that millisecond of you planting your foot, that release package is special. He freezes DBs. He's incredible after the catch as well. He's a great yak threat despite his lanky frame. I mean, he is incredible after the catch. His play speed, not only his speed, he's going to go out at the combine. He's going to put up some impressive numbers, but he has functional speed. It's not just when you take off the pads, he's fast. No, when you put the pads on, he still has that functional speed, short area quickness, I'm going to beat you in this short space to get separation from you. Oh, I'm also going to beat you over the top for a touchdown. He's got this functional speed in the open field, in his route running, at all levels of his route, that is very, very special. Now, yes, he does have some drop issues, okay? But quite a few prospects in this class do. So he doesn't really get a knock from me because of that. But in my opinion, there's some Devonta Smith there. There's some Deshaun Jackson there. There's some Jameson Williams there. And I can see how that could push people off because, you know, those players outside of Smith for a time, but he's in a weird offense, aren't really thriving on volume. Deshaun did at one point of his career. But, man, do not discount Troy Franklin. He could be my Zay Flowers of this year. Y'all know last year, we on this channel, we're trying to understand why Zay Flowers was not being drafted in the first round of some of our rookie drafts. So if Troy Franklin gets first-round draft capital, he'll be one of my favorite sleepers in the first round in that territory, if you will. But that's the end of the first round. I got to ask y'all, and I love the lad pick, by the way. I love the lad pick. But I got to ask y'all, who is the best value in the first round? Who is the best value pick in the first round? What is your opinion? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to know. I want to know who the people's best value in the first round is. And do me a massive favor and go ahead and smash that like button. It's Valentine's Day. If you're watching this video, you might have a Valentine or you might be all on your own. Either way, we're here, we're streaming, we're hanging out together, providing some content, talking about the 2024 NFL Draft when not many others are. So do me a favor, smash that like button. I have a like goal of 80 likes on today's stream. If we hit 80 likes, I will do a second mock draft. A whole new group of people will have a chance to join me, and we'll keep talking about these rookies. So do me a massive favor, go ahead and smash that like button to show some love, to help the channel grow, and to get that second mock draft going. We're already at 50 likes, so we're just 31 away from that goal. All right, people say the best value in the draft so far, Caleb. We've got Caleb at the 103, Franklin at the 112, Caleb easily, Styles says, another Caleb. The top three quarterbacks, Jacob says, Caleb, Bobby says, Caleb, and honestly JJ at 8. Bowers, but Bowers is already off the board. I don't know what you mean by that. He went off the board at the 1-6. So Bowers is already gone. Raymond says Caleb is the best value as well. So a lot of people saying Caleb Williams is the best value. I get it. I mean, it's hard to argue when the #1 overall pick, some people say a better prospect than Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck. I'm not saying that. I'm saying some people say it. So it's hard to argue. He goes at the 103 in a super flex league. I can definitely see where people are coming from. But let's get into the second round here. Let's see how things pan out, because we could start to see some chaos here very, very soon. Oh, you're good, Dre. You're good. Daniel's at 5 would be a great value in most leagues. I agree, Isaiah. I agree. And if he goes to the Patriots, he could be consensus 105, and that's going to be such a value. I mean, with his rushing upside, he's going to be a cheat code, I think. I think he's going to be a cheat code. Would not surprise me one bit. But current update on the like goal, we are 27 likes away from 80. 27 likes away from the goal. And when we hit that goal, we'll do a second mock draft altogether. So there goes Jatavion Sanders off the board. It is a tight end premium format. That's probably why he got pushed up the board a little bit. Then we see Michael Penix. Remember, Michael Penix went in the second round to the Vikings. So he's got a fantastic opportunity ahead of him. Could you imagine if that was real life? Could you imagine if Michael Penix steps into the Vikings training camp and has a chance to win that job? Sheesh, that could be crazy. Jonathan Brooks. I love the Jonathan Brooks pick there. He fits the Houston Texans offense like a glove. It is a perfect fit. He and CJ Stroud and those wide receivers, oh my gosh, so dynamic. Think about what Devin Singletary was able to do for you guys in some of your leagues this year, and then multiply that by a player actually being very good. That's not disrespect to Devin Singletary, but we're talking about Jonathan Brooks, my pro comps, little Cam Akers out of Florida State. Don't think about the Cam Akers post Achilles tear. Think about before the Achilles tear. I see a little Travis Etienne as well to his game. I've heard some people say Aaron Jones. So, I mean, that is a very talented player joining a very talented offense. Roman Wilson goes at the 204. Wilson is shooting up draft boards. I have no doubt that if we had ADP, he would probably be the one that's, since the Senior Bowl, jumped up boards the most. But you have to think about it. He joins the Patriots, so he gets to have a rookie camp with Jaden Daniels. He gets to form a connection there. And then he gets to compete with who for the number 1 job? No disrespect to Pop Douglas. Pop is a great player. Excuse me. But he gets to be the number 1 wide receiver on that team from day one. He and Lad McConkey, their opportunity, their situation in this mock draft is unparalleled. Unparalleled. Incredible landing spots. I mean, you can make a case that they have a clearer pathway to the wide receiver 1 role on their team than Xavier Worthy did, Troy Franklin, Brian Thomas. You can make that case. Malachi Corley at the 205. That's got to be one of the earliest times I've seen him go, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's wrong, but he goes to the Tennessee Titans in the 2nd round. Then my guy, unfortunately, off the board. I was probably living in fantasy land thinking he might fall to me, but Trey Benson goes off the board. He went in the 3rd round to the Cardinals. What a perfect fit for the second part of Kyler's second contract there. Bo Nix goes off the board at the 207. He went to the Rams in round 2. I like it. I like it. Gets to sit behind, and you know he is ready to start right now. So I get it from that perspective why it's not ideal. But Bo Nix is ready to start right now. But he also gets to take a year, sit behind Matthew Stafford, learn from Sean McVay. And let's be honest. Would anyone bet all the money in their bank account that Matthew Stafford stays healthy next year for the entire year? I wouldn't. So there's a chance that Bo Nix gets a real opportunity to be the starting quarterback there at some point that year. Adonai Mitchell off the board. He goes to the Browns in round 2. I like the pick. Love me some Adonai Mitchell. I think he is also a player that at the beginning of the cycle was getting a lot of love, and now I think the love has just fallen off a little bit. And I think he still deserves that love. A little T. Higgins to his game for sure. Bucky Irving off the board at the 209. Bucky is a special player, guys. He is a special player. You know, I was recording a video this week, and man, I'm telling y'all, Bucky could be nice in PPR leagues. Check this out. Y'all want to hear some things to get excited about Bucky Irving? All right. Bucky, 16% of his snaps, he lined up as a receiver. I'm not telling you 16% of his snaps, he ran a route. No, I'm telling you 16% of his snaps, he lined up as a wide receiver. Do you want to know the percentage of his snaps he ran a route? Whether out wide, in the slot, or in the backfield? 56% of his snaps, he ran a receiving route. That means more time than not, and it makes sense with the Oregon offense that they ran, he was running a receiving route out of that backfield. We're talking about a running back who put up over 50 receptions. I mean, this guy is suited for the modern day NFL. This is, along with another name, my version of Tajay Spears in the 2023 class. And in this world, he gets to join the Minnesota Vikings. That's fun, man. They need someone like that. Kevin O'Connell's pass-happy offense. You telling me he gets to join that team? That is fun. That is very enticing, in my opinion. Jalen McMillan goes off the board next, and your boy's on the clock. So a lot of my guys no longer available to me. There's so many wide receivers I could go here. There's so many wide receivers I could go, and I probably should. There's one name in particular I know I should. I just don't want to. And I'll say this. envisioning, okay, so new head coach, new offensive coordinator, vast history of the run game being critical to their offense. The offense at this organization, or now the staff in place, runs. I talked about Bucky Irvin being one of my Tajay Spears comps. There's another, and that is Marshawn Lloyd. I'm going to go Marshawn Lloyd here. He went to the Chargers in the 4th round, and I just love that landing spot. Again, thinking about how important the run game is to Jim Harbaugh, what the run game has looked like under Greg Roman in the past. Now you've got Marshawn Lloyd who joins that team. We've heard they want to bring back Austin Eckler. That doesn't really scare me all that much because we saw how inefficient and how little juice he had left last year. So I think he fits that offense perfectly. If he starts to get some work through the air, at the end of his rookie season or in year 2, that could be very exciting as well. I'll take Marshawn Lloyd off the board. He's a much better player than people give him credit for, averaging over 7 yards per carry this year. Only him and one other player in this class managed to do that, and that player is still available. But that is into the end of the 2nd round, just like we did at the end of the 1st round. Why don't you guys tell me who you believe the best value pick in the 2nd round is? Who was the best value in the 2nd round? A pick that went off the board and you were like, damn, that guy got an absolute steal at that pick. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. And by the way, a little update on our like goal. Our like goal is 80. We are at 62, so just 18 likes away from hitting that like goal. If we reach 80 likes, I will pop off a 2nd mock draft for you guys today. So do me a favor as we are about to get into round 3 and smash that like button to show the channel some love here on Valentine's Day. All right, so who is the best value in the 2nd round? We've got K here saying Braylon Allen, who went at the 210. He went to the Ravens in the 2nd. I can see it. Glamour says Bo Nix, who went at the 207. Remember, 2nd round pick who landed in Los Angeles with Sean McVay. We've got Bobby saying Adonai Mitchell was the best value. He went to the Browns. Jalen Wright is not in sleeper yet. I probably would have picked him if he was, but we can still add him on the board if someone would like to pick him. Sparrow says Bo Nix. I do love me some Xavier Legette. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am higher than consensus, but I do like him for sure. Dre says Irving is a great value, and I agree as well. So let's get into the 3rd round here. And guys, there are multiple 2nd round values still on the board. And when I say that, I mean like worthy of going at the 206 to the 210. We have said this so consistently throughout this offseason that there are going to be really good players that fall down the board. That's not an indication of that player being bad. It's an indication of how deep this class is. You're getting a 2nd round wide receiver in Keon Coleman in the 3rd round. You're getting Blake Corum, who went in the 3rd round to the Packers all the way at the 302. You're getting Ricky Pearsall, who I love me some slick Ricky, a 3rd round wide receiver linking up with Caleb Williams in the 3rd round. I mean, this class is so deep, and if it goes the way that we want it to, your 3rd round rookie picks could be as valuable as 2023 2nd round picks. They could be, if not more valuable. That is how deep this class is. And of course, it could go the other way where, oh wow, nothing went the way that we wanted. And, some of those values start to trim back a little bit. But right now, with our evaluation combined with what we are hearing from the draft community, this could be a historic offensive class. In fact, I said this back in December. I believe we could have a record year for the total amount of wide receivers drafted in 2024. I believe we could break a record with the most wide receivers ever drafted in an NFL draft this year. That's how deep this class is. I mean, when I'm looking at my wide receiver rankings this year, it's like 25 players deep that I'm like, yeah, I mean, my wide receiver 22 in this class, I could totally see how he could produce for an NFL team. That's how deep this class is. It's absolutely bonkers how deep this class is, guys. So yeah, love it. I love the love for Xavier Legette in the chat as well. But let's see what Styles is going to do here. He is up on the clock. He might be out on a Valentine's date right now and also mock drafting under the dinner table. Who knows? Looks like he's about to get auto picked though. So it looks like he's probably going to get... Okay, Will Shipley. That must have been a queue or something. Oh, it wasn't an auto. Looks like he got on just at the last time. So he says panic pick. He was caught up at work. Will Shipley. Yeah, I probably am lower on Will Shipley than the average person. We released a video a couple days ago and someone said, your analysis on Will Shipley was so lazy. He's going to be an absolute beast. And fair enough. I just struggle to see it. I struggle to see him being a running back we are truly excited about in fantasy football. His yards after the contact per attempt, really average. He was 104th in missed tackles forced. Out of 157 running backs who had 100 attempts. He wasn't very explosive this year. Under 35% breakaway percentage. I get the appeal as a receiver. And there are certain players who... Like, Kyron Williams is not the most impressive athlete, right? He went to the right system, and he's a very good player. He's like this hard-nosed player. But Kyron's more of an outlier than a rule, right? So, look, I could be wrong. When I look at Will Shipley, I see a lot of Chuba Hubbard. And people will hate this, but I kind of see a little Clyde. A little CEH. And look, not everyone's going to like that opinion. That's completely fine. Hey, let's see Will Shipley at the Combine. Let's see him absolutely dominate at the Combine and completely prove me wrong. All right, D. Macy, I'm going to go ahead and say, in my personal opinion, gets the steal of the draft. Anyone agree with me? Anybody agree with me? I think this is a steal of the draft so far. A player that is worthy of going in the top 6 of the second round. Jalen Wright comes off the board at the 206 to Daniel Macy. I bet you if he was in Sleeper's database, he probably goes earlier. But that has got to be the steal of the draft. He goes to the Cowboys in the 3rd round. Now, I believe he's probably going to take over the Tony Pollard role. And this would indicate to me that they're likely moving on from Tony Pollard. But man, he is a fun running back to watch. So much juice. So little tread on his tires as well. There's a bright future ahead of Jalen Wright. He is starting caliber material. He is starting caliber material for sure. As sweet baby Ray Davis off the board, who he went to the Giants. Jalen Polk went off the board. He's a 3rd round pick to the Steelers. That's why Polk is falling, because no one is going to be excited about a Steelers running back. No one's going to be excited, or a wide receiver, excuse me. That is not going to get anyone out of bed in the morning. Let's be honest. We also had Audric Estime off the board at the 3-7. Audric Estime off the board. And let's see what Aselimo is going to do here. There's definitely a couple names I have my eye on here. You know, there's a couple names that I want to draft. I'm hoping my decision is made for me. Excuse me. That way I'm not put in that position. There are 3 names that are screaming at me right now. I'm hoping Aselimo takes one of those names so my decision's a little bit easier. Chef says, how does Jalen Wright already have a photo? That is just my Photoshop. That's just me, Photoshop, adding it to our stream. If you guys were with us on our streams back in early January and December and stuff, Sleeper didn't have the rookies imported. So we just did some little Photoshop and added them manually so we could have some fun. Who the hell is that? Who the hell is that guy? Oh, this is Javon Baker. I do love that pick. I do love that pick, and I'm sorry, I still haven't drafted Javon or made a an image for Javon Baker yet. I'm sorry. I need to do that. I just keep thinking Sleeper's going to add him, so I don't need to. But I love that pick. I'm not going to say anything. Just watch the video that releases tomorrow morning, guys. And I think you'll fall in love with Javon Baker as well. Now, there's a couple players that I love that are still on the board. One of them I'm obsessed with, but he's in the 6th round, and he goes to a landing spot that almost makes him irrelevant when you consider the competition around him. But there are 3 names that are just staring me down in the 4th round here. Jeez, man. It's the 312. It's the end of the 3rd round. Broke money don't make none. Am I right? What are we going to do with this pick, huh? Why not shoot for the moon? Why not? You and me, Valentine's night, 2024. Why don't we shoot for the freaking moon? Spencer Rattler off the board. Spencer Rattler joins my team here at the 312, and he was drafted to the Atlanta Falcons in the 4th round. Now, I'm assuming if they make this pick, that means they did not address quarterback in the free agency market. And we know based off this draft, they didn't get one in the 1st or 2nd round either. So you're telling me that Spencer Rattler has to battle it out with Desmond Ridder in camp. Now, does that excite any Falcon fan? Probably not. Probably not. But, man, Spencer Rattler's film is a roller coaster of emotion. It is an absolute roller coaster of emotion. Some plays you're like, dude, what? How did you do that? Other plays you're like, why did you make that decision? I'll take him here. You know, if he wins a starting job, I took him at the 312. He's got Drake London, Tez Walker, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson around him. If he wins a starting job, what's the worst that can happen with that pick? In a super flex format, I'll take a little shot on Spence. And, you know, with Sam Howell, think about that. That's a round where Sam Howell went. And you could have gotten really good value for Sam Howell mid-season if you were to trade him away. So it's not like you have to believe in this player and build around him long-term. But super flex league, I'll take a little Spence to the Falcons there. All right, guys, just an update. I set a like goal on today's stream. It is 80 likes. We are just 1 like away from that goal. And if we hit 80 likes, I will do a second mock draft with all of you guys here on Valentine's night. So do me a massive favor and go ahead and smash that like button. Such a simple way for you to support the channel and to get more content on the way. But let's go ahead and start this fourth round with JRV. Is that 5? Roman numerals? I'm bad. I just don't agree, Derek. I hear you, man. But Desmond Ridder's arm talent is nowhere near Spencer's. I don't think Desmond Ridder could even dream. He couldn't even go to sleep and dream of that arm talent. But you can make an argument, and as crazy as it sounds, and it definitely doesn't help Spencer's case, you can make a serious argument that that Desmond is a better game manager, has a higher IQ, can read a defense better. As sad as that sounds, you can make a serious argument for it. No worries, Josh. You're good. You're completely fine. Cade Stover goes off the board at the 4-1. It is a tight end premium format. He went to the Panthers in round 4. Yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. Right now with the tight ends, I'm about to scout a couple more, but it's really the big 3 that I'm focused on. And I won't talk about all of those guys yet, but it feels like Bowers and Sanders are really the belle of the ball, if you will, in this year's class. What's up, Mighty Booch? Welcome in. 2025 class at quarterback looking pretty suspect so far, so wouldn't doubt teams go after quarterbacks here. I could see that. Yeah, 100% yes. That's the best part of Dynasty. is projecting and seeing what could be. Mighty Booch says, also, I've heard Sanders is pissing off some teams with a really bad attitude. Is that Jatavion you're saying? Is that Jatavion? I'm not going to say like I was refused to participate in team drills. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't like, look, I was very excited about Jatavion before I dove into his film. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not excited still. I think he'll be like a really fun late second in a non-tight end premium format. But I will say that, like, I don't know. It's like, is underwhelmed the right word? I'm not sure. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But I didn't fall in love. Let me say that. I didn't fall in love like I did with a lot of these other prospects in this class. Holker comes off the board. That's an auto pick, undoubtedly. Then we see Michael Pratt off the board, keeping in mind that Michael Pratt went to the Seahawks in round 4. And, you know, Pratt is I'm not going to say he is this year's Brock Purdy, but in the sense of, like, he could run an offense well, but his arm talent's not going to blow you away. I think they match there. Really good competitors as well. Jaheim Bell off the board. I love me some Jaheim Bell. Big fan of his game. Then Brendan Rice is probably a huge value. Went in the 3rd round to the Texans. He's probably a huge value there. Malik Washington, that's who I was really battling with between him and Spencer Rattler at the 312. Guys, can we be honest for a second? Daniel Macy has absolutely killed this draft. He has absolutely killed this draft. Unreal draft. Ben Snott at the 4-7. Don't know too much about him, but I do know that he went to the Commanders in round 3. And the Commanders need a tight end. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Jamari Thrash off the board, who went to the Ravens in round 3. So he is no longer available. How crazy is that, guys? We're in the 4th round, the late 4th round, and 3rd round wide receivers are still on the board. If that doesn't tell you how deep this class is, I mean, come on. That's incredible. Oh, Quinn Law says sleeper app glitched. Sleeper app glitched. Understood. There goes Jermaine Burton. I love me some Jermaine Burton. I just couldn't draft him because in this mock draft, he went in the 6th round to the Vikings. That's just not fun, is it? But I love the pick there. It probably would have been my pick if he was still available. I would be absolutely shocked if Jermaine Burton lasted to the 6th round. I'd be shocked, man. I don't think he gets out of the top 3. Worst case, top 4. I would be real. When I tell you shock level, I'm saying like 90 out of 100 shocked. Johnny Wilson off the board. He went to the Broncos in the 4th round. So he is Gonzo. Gonzo Ball. Like Lonzo Ball. Bad joke, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know. That was rough. Man, I really wish some of these names that I liked were even drafted. There's some real sleepers still in this class, guys, that no one's talking about. There's some real sleepers that no one is talking about. That's what my entire video is based on tomorrow morning. Or tomorrow. Okay, Jacob Coing was a screaming value. 3rd round wide receiver. At the 411. That's so crazy. But I'm on the board now. And all the players in the first 4 rounds are no longer available to me. there's a couple different ways I could go here. Man, I'm so surprised those guys weren't even drafted. I'm gonna go with a little bit like when I say like sleeper, I'm saying like deepest sleeper right now, potentially at the running back spot. Like, I think if people were to do drafts today before the NFL draft, I don't think he would be drafted in a single. I'm not gonna say that. I think he'd be drafted in less than 3% of leagues across the board. We're gonna grab Rasheen Ali here to end the draft. I'm not going to say I'm absolutely in love with Rasheen Ali, but I do appreciate his game for sure. He's 5'11", 205 pounds. He might be more around 200. We'll see, but we've seen plenty of running backs now in the NFL be successful at that size. He moves just really well. He moves really well. He is out of Marshall, so he played in the Sun Belt Conference. It's a little bit difficult to value Sun Belt production because you know that's just nowhere near the top level of competition at the that you're facing on the defensive end. But moves really well laterally. There's like this gracefulness, yet like also a sharpness to his movements. I don't know how to describe it other than that. He exploits angles really well in the open field. And what impressed me the most about Rasheen Ali is how he performed when he faced better competition outside of the Sun Belt Conference. For example, and I know Virginia Tech was not good this year, but he played in the against ACC competition, which I know is nothing like the SEC, but I promise you it's much better than the Sun Belt Conference. He played versus ACC competition versus Virginia Tech, which again, I know they weren't a great defense, but versus ACC defense, he puts up 174 yards and 2 touchdowns, over 6 yards per attempt. He also played NC State, 63 yards on 4.5 yards per attempt. So even though he played in the Sun Belt Conference, it's always a huge red flag for me when someone plays in a poor conference and then against good competition, they do just awful. Who was it last year that everyone loved? And Dwayne McBride was a good example last year. Didn't play versus good competition, had a couple good games versus good programs, and didn't perform well. So it's good to see that he did perform well versus those teams. There was another guy in this class as well that a lot of people were high on. I think Frank Gore Jr., oddly enough. He played in the Sun Belt. But Frank Gore, when he played Florida State, again, ACC, much better defense than those two guys we just named. He averaged 2.8 yards per carry. And versus Tulane, Frank Gore Jr. averaged 1.2 yards per attempt. So that's always a big red flag for me. But Rasheen Ali, a very exciting player, dynamic out of the backfield. What I will say is, my overall concern for Rasheen Ali is I don't think there is a scenario in which he can improve his draft capital from now until the NFL draft. Unfortunately, at the Senior Bowl, he suffered a ruptured bicep tendon. I'm no doctor, but from my research, that's a 4 to 6 month recovery. And you will not be able to lift weights at all. You won't participate at the combine. You might not even be 100% by the time the 2024 season starts. So I'll show him a little bit of love, but just keep your expectations lower than what you might want to, right? All right, guys, we did reach the like goal, so I am going to pop off a second mock draft for you guys. Do me a favor, though. If you have yet to chuck me a follow over on Twitter, then be a friend and go ahead and do so if you don't mind. I mean, if you like the content, if you enjoy listening to me ramble on, speaking Japanese, put my Twitter link there in the chat. But every once in a while, I'll post takes from our YouTube. I'll go back and I'll look about what we talked about. I'll post trades that I've done in my Dynasty League. I did this one recently for Rashee Rice, and the comment section is hilarious. It is just chocked full of different opinions. It's like a roller coaster. It's like an absolute roller coaster, the comment section here. People telling me I got taken for a ride. People telling me that I fleeced someone. It's hilarious how many different opinions there are. But chuck me a follow over there on Twitter if you like the content, if you like what I'm putting down. But we will do another mock draft here. We'll do one quarterback. We'll show the one quarterback gang some love here. Let's do that. Let's do one quarterback. One quarterback, linear. We'll make it 30 seconds. Go a little faster for this one quarterback one. Hey, don't say I don't do anything for you, one quarterback gang. But if you guys want to be a part of this mock draft, all you got to do is join our Discord. That is step one. Once you have joined the Discord, you'll see the Fantasyland orange footballs. Okay, under the Fantasyland tab, there will be a tab that says content releases. Right here is where I'm going to send that link. This is the old link. I'm about to send out the new link. And feel free to join. I'll go ahead and take the 6th spot there. But I'll go ahead and send this link out here. So go ahead, join. We'll do another mock draft, 30 seconds on the clock. And we'll have some fun with this one quarterback crew. But don't be drafting like it's super flex if we're going to say one quarterback, right? We'll do one quarterback, tight end premium, PPR. It'll be the same landing spots as before as well. But we still have some open spots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 open spots. All right, I've given everyone enough chance to join on Discord. I'll put that link directly in the YouTube chat now. 5 spots left. Join the draft if you like. 1, 2. Now there's 4 spots left. Officially 4 spots left in the draft. Now there are 3. We're getting close. 2 spots left. The landing spots, I'll put a link in the chat for you guys. Anyone who wasn't able to see them, it's also in the description. But we are completely full. So we'll go ahead and get this thing going. One quarterback, PPR, tight end premium format. So let's go ahead and get this thing popping. Again, one quarterback, tight end premium. Keep that in mind as we go throughout this mock draft. Marvin Harrison comes off the board as a 101. Then Malik Neighbors, no surprise, to the Chargers, and Marvin to the Cardinals. I feel like mock drafts are getting so boring now. Not like Dynasty mock drafts, but I watch NFL mock drafts all the time. I mean, I can't get enough of them. But it feels like they're getting so boring now because it's just always the first 6 or 7 picks are the same for everyone. And it makes sense because there's a very good reason as to why those picks are the same. But man, it's getting a little bit repetitive at this point for those NFL mock drafts. Brian Thomas Jr. off the board. Yeah, we can definitely do a Dynasty startup. If people want to do a startup, we can do that soon. It's probably a good time to transition to those. Maybe we'll stop doing 2 of these a week, and instead we'll do one rookie mock on a live stream and one startup on a live stream. Yeah, I think you're right, Styles. That combine, you find out so much information on what NFL teams actually think of these players. So I think you're right there. I took Xavier Worthy off the board. Then we saw Troy Franklin. Probably should have drafted Troy there. But I drafted him in the last draft, so I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. Caleb Williams off the board at the 108. One quarterback people. It seems like there is no consensus on where quarterbacks should go this year. Jonathan Brooks off the board at the 109. We love us some Johnny Brooks. Man, could you imagine a healthy Jonathan Brooks staying in the state of Texas, joining the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud? Now that could be absolutely electric. Ladd McConkey off the board at the 110. I like the pick. Man, I am kind of starting to fall in love with Ladd McConkey to the Panthers. I really, really want Ladd to the Panthers to happen. The more I think about it, the more I would really love that. Adonai Mitchell off the board. Great player. He goes to the Browns in round 2. Huh. Let's see what Benny J. Rock's going to do. Drake May. I was going to say, I wonder how far Drake is going to slide down the board here. Blake Corum. All right. Blake Corum goes as the second running back off the board. And he goes to the Green Bay Packers. So Blake the Great off the board. That might be the first surprise so far. Then Trey Benson. I was hoping maybe, just maybe, he might fall to me. Benji says wanted Keon, but Drake could fall that much. Makes sense. Let's see what Minch is going to do here. Josh says he's a Panthers fan and he would love it too. We're on the same wavelength here. We're on the same wavelength. Braylon Allen. Someone I was eyeing up, I think, as well as a potential pick for me. Goes to the Ravens. Yeah, I mean, it would be very easy to be in on Braylon Allen if he went to the Ravens. There goes Jatavion Sanders off the board. And that's great because I personally feel like Roman Wilson's a huge value here. Remember, Patriots early round 2 has a clear pathway to be the starting wide receiver, the number 1 wide receiver, rather, for Jaden Daniels. I love that value there at the 2-6. I'll take that off the board. Xavier Legette off the board next, who went to the Lions in the 2nd round. I do like Xavier Legette. Don't get me wrong. I really do like Legette, but I don't like this landing spot. Amon-Ra St. Brown, not going anywhere. Sam Laporta, not going anywhere. Jahmyr Gibbs, not going anywhere. Jameson Williams, hard to say. But he came on in a big way at the end of the season. So, love the player. Just struggled to see any sort of consistency for him in that offense. He's going to join a great offense. He's a great player. But volume, ultimately, if you don't have volume in fantasy, you're not going to be a big impact player. Malachi Corley off the board. He went to the Titans, as well as JJ McCarthy, who is a Raider. What do people think about the Raiders situation right now? Do we think Devontae Adams is coming back? I think the better question is not will Devontae Adams come back, but what about Josh Jacobs? As Jalen Polk goes off the board, as well as brother Bo Nix, Los Angeles Ram. Let's see what Benji does here at the 301. Joshua says, I hope Bowers lands well in the NFL. Mayer's going to be wasted on the Raiders. I do like Mayer still, though, man. I think he's a great buy. But I hear you. Not the ideal landing spot for Mayer coming in, was it? But he has a chance to emerge. Bucky Irvin, great value. Went to the Vikings in round 4. Then Slick Ricky off the board at the 302. He's joining Caleb Williams in Chicago. Sorry, I keep scratching my nose, guys. I'm so itchy right now. How likely is it that Devontae Adams gets traded to the Jets? I actually think it would make a ton of sense if they had the capital. But that's my concern. It's just I don't know that they really have the capital to make that move. As Michael Penix goes off the board. But that would be the move if there is a move. Could you imagine him? Who gets to wear number 17 then? Oh, wait. Never mind. Garrett Wilson's already changing to 5 next year, isn't he? So that answers that. Wait. Is that Jalen Wright? Uh-oh. What did I do? What did I do? Marshawn Lloyd off the board. Did they add Jalen Wright? Okay. It looks like they might have added Jalen Wright. You'd love to see it. We'll go ahead and take Jalen McMillan off the board here at the 3-6. I love me some Jalen. What's up, Hot Nichols? Welcome in, my man. Thanks for the love there. So they finally added Jalen Wright. You love to see it. What about Javon Baker then? Is Javon Baker in there? Javon Baker's in, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, oops, he's still on the board. But that is good news. That is good to hear that they finally added those players. Ray Davis off the board, sweet baby. Cade Stover. Jermaine Burton, Brendan Rice. Love me some Burton. Really confused why he's falling so far in these real landing spot NFL mock drafts that we're using. Estime is a great value there. I'm not the biggest Audric Estime fan, but if he goes in the 4th round to the Bengals, that's very enticing. That is very, very enticing. I also like the Brendan Rice pick linking up with CJ Stroud. Probably not going to overthrow like Nico or Tank, but definitely a great situation to be put into. Holker. Isn't this the kid out of Colorado State? Yeah. Dallin Holker. Same place Trey McBride came from. Spencer Rattler at the 4-2. Jamari Thrash at the 4-3. Let's see here. Malik Washington. I had my eyes on. I was zeroed in on Malik. And now I've got to change the game plan up here. Okay, we got to pivot. Okay, perfect. Because I'm going to take the pleasure of potentially being the first person ever. If Sleeper just added these names, I get to be the first person ever to draft Javon Baker. So Javon Baker comes off the board. He joins my squad. He goes to the Patriots in round 5. And as good as Roman Wilson is, don't rule out Javon Baker potentially becoming a huge threat in New England as well. He and Roman Wilson are both on my team. So whoever decides to break out, I've got the other one. So that's fine with me. Could you imagine KC sign someone like Higgins? That would be awesome. But I just don't see Cincinnati letting that happen, you know? The reports are right now that they're going to franchise tag him. That was my concern thinking about the offseason is just, man, all these teams are just going to franchise tag their good players, and then the free agency period is going to be so boring. I'm concerned that's kind of where we're heading. But we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. Jaheim Bell, AJ Barner, Ben Sinnott, and Jacob Coing all off the board. And 2 picks left here. Guys, I do really appreciate you hanging out with me here on Valentine's Day night. Hopefully you've had a good day. It's not been too crazy and you've been able to enjoy yourself. Dylan Lobb comes off the board as well as Will Shipley. But I am going to tell you just quickly about some exciting things going over here on the channel. If you want a Dynasty team review unlocked by yours truly, then go ahead and become a Mother Flocker member on the Flock Fantasy website using the promo code LAND. Tomorrow night, I am going to be reviewing Dynasty teams on the stream. And you can see the first teams that we'll be reviewing is Lonely Shoe. A couple other names out to see. I know Cold Case's membership just went through today. So I'm excited to go out tomorrow night and review these Dynasty teams. If you want to, get the roster submissions tab unlocked, if you want to get a Dynasty team review by me, again, become a Mother Flocker member on the Flock Fantasy website with the promo code LAND. Not only do you get that, you also get access to our 2024 rookie report. Version 2 is already out on the website, as well as everyone else's databases and reports and, draft guides on the website, as well as rankings and unlimited access to the trade calculator, as well as completely unlocking all of our premium channels on the Discord server. Last thing I'd say as well is if you have yet to follow me over on Twitter, feel free to do so. I'll drop a link there in the chat. Every once in a while I do throwbacks, or I'll show you guys trades that I've made in my leagues. Always a little bit controversial in the comment section there, but that's going to be it for today. Joshua says Saquon and Jacobs going to move this year. I feel like they will, but I could be wrong. Wouldn't surprise me if I'm wrong. But that's it for today, guys. Do me a favor, drop a like as the stream is ending. Hey, hopefully you're not too lonely on Valentine's Day, but we'll see you tomorrow night when we start streaming again. All love. See you soon.